Russo'sBrand.com, where the pros are the pros. Castrating the marks.
All right, let's go to Meltzer and Alvarez video. This was sent in by Final Boss Engaged, and they're talking about Joe Hendry facing Randy Orton at WrestleMania.
Given what they're doing with Randy Orton, which is he's challenging for John Cena's title, it actually makes sense that he beat the TNA champion to set up getting a shot at the Undisputed WWE.
I'm sorry. These squeaky noises that just come out of his mouth in the background. Did you hear him?
Oh, Meltzer?
Yes.
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it.
Alvarez, he's just like, wow. Like,
let me hear again.
Title. It actually makes sense that he beat the TNA champion to set up getting a shot at the Undisputed WWE champion.
For WWE, of course it makes sense. Nobody ever said for WWE it didn't make sense. Does it make sense?
Bro, you cannot, bro, there's one or two things going on. Jeff, you know, with StreamYard now. Jeff, how do we know they're on StreamYard? Like, do we know?
No, I don't believe they are. I think they use Skype.
Well, because on StreamYard, Jeff, there's a lever now where you could fix your...
we messed with that one night, remember?
Yeah. Bro, how can anybody tell me this guy is not wearing makeup? I mean, serious, like,
because he's not using the AI thing because that would take away the wrinkles.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He freaking puts makeup on before these things, man. So he's dyeing his hair and wearing makeup.
Rewind to hear the squeaks again.
You love the squeaks.
Given what they're doing with Randy Orton, which is he's challenging for John Cena's title, it actually makes sense that he beat the TNA champion to set up getting a shot at the Undisputed WWE champion.
For WWE, of course it makes sense. Nobody ever said for WWE it didn't make sense. Does it make sense for TNA?
My point is he could have beaten the TNA champion and there could have been nothing to come of it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he was going to get it. No,
beat the guy, whatever. But hey,
that's why he had to have a win.
Yes.
You know,
well, obviously, but the point is he beat a champion to set up getting another championship match.
Okay.
It wasn't just him beating the TNA champion. He's going to be feuding with whoever, some rando.
God, those freaking, like I always bring this up, but those lines on each side of his nose are so deep. They're like, I swear to God, I wonder if like freaking things live in there. They're so deep. I never seen anybody with such deep crevices in their nose lines, bro. Unbelievable. Go ahead, Jeff.
Set up getting another championship match.
Okay.
It wasn't just him beating the TNA champion. He's going to be feuding with whoever, some rando.
Okay.
He's going for a title.
Okay. But it always made sense for WWE to squash a guy from another promotion.
Go back. Look at that still. That was a great still you had there.
He's going for a title.
Okay. But it always made sense for WWE to squash a guy from another promotion.
I know, you don't get it though, Dave. I know that. But my point is, Randy Orton could have
I got to tell you something seriously, bro. Seriously. These two need to talk before their show because it is getting more and more obvious. Like, and bro, here's the funny thing. You do this to me, but like, I'm kind of in on it. Like you make fun of the old man. I'm in on it.
I don't. Okay. They do. I just play the clips.
I'm an old man. Okay.
I just play the clips. They send them in.
Alvarez does it in a whole different way where it makes Meltzer look like an absolute idiot because Meltzer doesn't know he's an old man. Meltzer doesn't know he's an old man. That is the difference. And I mean, bro, some of these clips on Meltzer's own show, he makes him look like a freaking idiot.
Well, last week we had the one where they do talk beforehand, and so Alvarez did what Meltzer wanted him to do, what they talked about beforehand, and Meltzer was still confused. Yeah.
Makes sense for WWF to squash a guy from another promotion.
I know, you don't get it though, Dave. I know that, but my point is, Randy Orton could have beaten the TNA champion, and then on Raw, he could have started a feud with Finn Balor. And it'd be like, okay, well, that's cool and everything like that. But at least he beat the TNA champion to set up a match with the WWE champion. That's my point.
That had nothing to do with that, but is that the end of the clip?
No.
To set up a match with the WWE champion. That's my point.
In 3 minutes with two RKOs. So here's the.
Oh, did you get that? In 3 minutes with two RKOs.
Okay. I had to get that in there.
with the WWE champion. That's my point.
In 3 minutes with 2 RKOs. So here's my point on this, okay? And that is the argument that Joe Hendry, by getting RKO twice and beat in 3 minutes, that it's actually a positive for TNA and Joe Hendry, because he got to be at WrestleMania and he got the rub of being in the same match with Randy Orton, right? If that was the case, and doing so gives you a rub, why did they choose Joe Hendry? Why didn't they put Black or Jeff Cobb? Although Jeff Cobb isn't.
It's so funny. Can I answer his question for him right there, Jeff? Can I please answer the question for him? Because even I know who Joe Hendry is. The 2 people he just mentioned, I have no idea who they are, bro. Joe Cobb and Troy Black. I have no idea who those people are. So maybe because people know who Joe Hendry is, bro.
Jeff Cobb's somewhat known, but the return of
Jeff. Do you know Jeff Cobb?
I don't know.
That's the first time I've ever heard the name.
The reason they didn't was because they didn't want to beat their guys in 3 minutes with an RKO and then give them a second RKO and treat them like a geek. Because if they actually believed, like everyone told Joe Hendry, and they're trying to say, oh, it's to his benefit, they would have put their own guy in that spot for that great benefit of having the rub from working at WrestleMania.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Get this straight. Triple H contacts TNA and tells them, we are going to use one of your guys in a match against Randy Orton at WrestleMania. And the guy from TNA is going to tell Hunter what guy they're going to use in that match. Is that what he's suggesting, bro?
And he's saying this hurts TNA and this hurts.
Yeah, because why? Because this is another anti-WWE. They weren't looking to help TNA. They were just looking to bury TNA. Meanwhile, absolutely 1000% TNA got the rub. Joe Hendry got the rub. It was good for them. But according to Meltzer, TNA should have told them, no. This is the guy you're going to use.
Orton, but they didn't do that.
He's a moron.
Does he? Okay, so he's trying to say, oh, well, their champion got beat in 3 minutes. Okay, well, their champion, how many people watching that show were either like, what is TNA?
Right.
Or TNA still around?
Right.
Like, seriously, how many people now may want to go watch that because of what happened?
Absolutely.
Like, how does he not understand how that helps TNA?
And bro, how does he not understand with all the freaking years? So it's either he understands, but he's just got to put the negative WWE, spin on it. Come on, man.